So today we are going to be reacting to one of my favorite players to ever play at Benfica. Like, I absolutely love this kid. His name is João Félix. He came up through Benfica schools. He was one of the most outstanding players I've ever seen play at Benfica, and he was so important to Benfica when he first arrived that Benfica was in a pretty bad place when he got there, and he stepped in. I think we were like 7 or 9 points behind FC Porto, who was in first place. He stepped in, and yeah, man, we end up coming back, winning the league with him. And he also scored just a crazy goal against FC Porto. He played really good in their stadium, which is a funny story because when he was a young kid, he actually was in Porto schools, and he ended up leaving Porto schools to come to Benfica schools, and that's when he became João Félix. So yeah, today I want to react to a video called The Rise, the Fall, and the Rise Again of João Félix. And this one's kind of important to me because, like I told you guys, I just know so much about João Félix. So, hey, man, let's kick it off. Here we go.
Félix was one of the best talents coming up in this new football generation. However, his time...
If you like the video, big old thumbs up. And always, every time we react to a video, we will leave the link in the description down below because this guy who makes this video is an incredible video maker. So you definitely want to check him out. Here we go.
Time at Atletico Madrid didn't go as planned, and his career stalled big time. But now with Barcelona, João Félix is back to his best, showing the world what he can do. So, how exactly did João Félix bounce back? Well, let's take a look at the rise, fall, and rise again of João Félix. João Félix was born on November 10th, 1999, in the Portuguese city called Viseu. As a kid, João was obsessed with football, with his family even joking that he could dribble a football before he could even talk. Additionally, when Félix was very young, he always had tons of footballs lying around throughout the entire house, just showing how obsessed he was with the sport at such a young age. Now, his love of dribbling as a kid only helped him in his career, because when he was 8 years old, Porto saw how good he was with the ball at his feet and offered João Félix the chance to join the Porto Academy, in which he said yes to. However, João's time at Porto wouldn't be smooth sailing, with him facing many challenges while playing for the academy. For starters, the journey from his house to Porto would take around 1.5 hours daily for training sessions on weekdays and even matches on the weekends. When he was 12, Félix had to move out of his parents' house to live near Porto's youth training grounds if he wanted to continue playing for the club. Although João agreed to the proposition, he was struggling to come to terms with it, with him even calling his family crying on the phone talking about how he wanted to come back. His father told him that he could drive all the way there and bring him back, but he would never take him back to Porto ever again. This helped João Félix open his eyes to reality, and hearing this from his father helped him make the decision to stay at Porto and to take football more seriously instead of trying to quit the sport he loved. Although João was doing just that, he was still facing a ton of challenges. The biggest one was his slight frame, with him being smaller than the other kids in his age group. Due to him being shorter and skinnier than his teammates, Félix was often not selected to be in the starting 11, and most of the time came off the bench during Porto games, despite his extraordinary talent on the ball. However, his lack of starting minutes started to get to Félix, and after 7 long years with Porto, João Félix made the decision to switch over to Porto's rivals, Benfica, in 2015. Now, yes, he did backstab Porto, not gonna lie, but it's obvious that João was a big fan of Benfica since he was very young. So in my eyes, this was him going back to where he belonged. Anyway, João Félix opened up about this move, saying that he thought going to Benfica would be more beneficial in his career, since Benfica was a club that invested heavily in the academy teams, and not many academies have that good of an infrastructure compared to Benfica. It also seemed like Benfica were happy to have him, because one of the youth coaches there, Renato Paiva, couldn't believe that Benfica got so lucky with a super talent like João Félix, with him even saying after Félix's first training session that he couldn't believe how Porto would just let him go like that. Paiva.
It's crazy how some clubs, this has happened multiple times. I think Manchester United had PK, right? And like, I think Sporting had Pepe. It just, the list goes on. Let me know in the comments down below if you could think of any player that was at a team and didn't work out, maybe in their academy, and kind of went somewhere else and like banged. It's wild to me that FC Porto had this kid for 7 years and didn't realize the talent he had, and they let a player that sold for 100 million plus leave for free. That to me is just wild. Like, somebody surely should get fired. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Benfica fan and I don't like Porto. I'm saying this simply because somebody surely is doing their job wrong, right? Like, there's got to be somebody out there. Like, what's going on, man? Like, how do you not see that?
The youth coach, even went as far as to say that Félix's talent was so out of the ordinary, and it was easy to see that. It also felt like he discovered a diamond after carelessly being tossed aside by his previous owner. Now, moving on to João's time with the Benfica youth team, he excelled. With both the youth academy and the Benfica B team, Félix was beginning to attract European interest throughout the continent thanks to his amazing finishing capabilities and perfect dribbling skills. Not only that, his short frame that bothered FC Porto wasn't an issue anymore, with João Félix receiving a late growth spurt that helped him reach almost 6 foot, while I'm still stuck at 5'9". time. Oh man, I'm 21 years old and I'm still waiting for that second growth spurt. Anyways, João was impressing so much with the Benfica B team that the senior team essentially had no choice but to promote him to the A team, and João did not look back at all. João Félix made his debut in the second game of the season against Boa Vista,
but there's something that people should know about this, is that the reason he made such an impact on the A team, and the reason he even made the A team, we had a coach that got sacked, and when the coach got sacked, the coach that was like coaching the B team where João Félix was got promoted to the A team. So now we have a coach that takes over another coach that was there, right? So a coach gets fired, another coach takes over, but this coach had been working with he knew the talent at Benfica through the academy. He knew them because he had come up through the schools as well, type thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's why he got the opportunity, because if it was just another coach, they probably wouldn't have thrown such a young kid from the academy into the team right away. You feel what I'm saying?
But a week later against Sporting in the Lisbon derby is when Félix really announced himself, because he scored his first Primeira Liga goal in the 1-1 draw, becoming the youngest player to score in the Lisbon derby. Now for the remainder of 2018 in the 18-19 season, João Félix would only bag one more goal during his time at Benfica under head coach Rui Vitória. A huge reason for João not contributing a lot on the pitch was because he was barely on it, with him not getting enough game time to show off his talent. However, in the beginning of 2019, Rui Vitória was sacked, and new head coach Bruno Lage took over. And with Bruno Lage as the coach is when João Félix really started to cook. Lage completely switched out the formation, and now with this new 4-4-2 look, João Félix played more as a second striker, forming a partnership with the real number 9 up top, Seferovic. With this new duo, Portuguese fans were taken aback by how good this new partnership was, and how good João Félix actually was with not only his dribbling, but also his pinpoint accuracy at passing and finishing. João Félix would continue to score goals and get assists throughout the campaign, but he really made Europe notice him in the Europa League quarterfinal clash against Eintracht Frankfurt, where Félix would score a hat-trick in a 4-2 win over the German club in the first leg. With João Félix's 3 goals, he became the youngest ever player to score a hat-trick in the Europa League at just 19 years and 152 days old. João Félix would then go on and finish the season with a total of 20 goals and 11 assists in 43 games, with his last goal happening on the final day against Santa Clara, helping Benfica seal the league trophy in a historic comeback in the title race. With Félix being an integral part in Benfica winning the league, he eventually went on to win the Primeira Liga's Best Young Player of the Year award and also the Golden Boy award in 2019. Additionally, João Félix scored 15 out of his 20 goals in the Primeira Liga, helping him finish joint 4th overall in the goal scoring charts this season. And across Europe's 7 best leagues, he was ranked 2nd among teenagers for goals and assists, only behind Kai Havertz and Jadon Sancho respectively. It's funny because currently, in present day, those two players aren't having it easy either with their careers. Anyways, this was João Félix's first season at Benfica, and Benfica fans thought that they would have at least a couple more years of Félix performing at their club. However, Europe's biggest clubs were all taking notice of him, including the likes of Manchester City, Barcelona, Juventus, and especially Manchester United. And it seemed like João Félix's high release clause couldn't stop him from leaving, and it didn't. That's because surprisingly, Atletico Madrid were the ones to break the bank for Félix, and João eventually signed a 7-year contract with the Spanish club for a transfer fee of 126 million euros, the 4th highest transfer fee ever paid in football at the time, and also the 2nd highest fee paid for a teenager, only after Kylian Mbappe. You see, Atletico Madrid recently lost Griezmann to Barcelona at the time, and they needed a superstar up top that could potentially replace Griezmann's outputs. Hence, with Atletico seeing Félix as the perfect replacement, they broke the bank just for him, and even gave him Griezmann's number 7 jersey.
This was just a bad choice all around for João Félix, because Atletico Madrid is so like a team that defends a lot more. At Benfica, he was a team that attacked a lot, so I knew when he went there, if you do like the math of Portuguese players that go to Atletico Madrid and have success, it's very little. I don't think Simón had success there. I don't think João Pinto has success there. A lot of Portuguese players that go there, or Portuguese league players go there and actually don't have success. And then there's some that have a lot of success. But yeah, man, the impact he had at Benfica in that season when Rui Vitória gets sacked and then Bruno Lage, again, who worked with the academy players, the way he got him playing was incredible, man. I thought this career would only go up, you know, but Atletico Madrid was a really bad choice.
This is also pretty much the start of João Félix's fall in his career. Now, the reason why I put fall in quotes was because Félix's season wasn't even bad in all honesty. Real quick before we get to that though, please remember to subscribe to the channel.
Hell yeah, make sure to subscribe to him.
And it means a lot, so thank you. And also, if you guys can, follow my Twitter and Instagram, both at Nabuto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Anyways, in the 36 games he played for Atleti in the 1920 season, Félix managed to bag 9 goals and 3 assists. Obviously, these aren't world-class stats, and definitely not stats for someone you paid 126 million euros for, but that's not João Félix's fault. The transfer fee being used in João Félix's relatively poor time with Atleti is pretty unfair to him, considering that it's not his fault that Benfica and Atletico Madrid reached an agreement on that number. He had no part in the transfer negotiations for that transfer fee. So it's pretty hard hard to judge him on that. Also, Felix has some pretty memorable moments in this campaign as well, like becoming the youngest goal scorer in the Champions League for Atletico Madrid at just 19 years old, and even helping set up Marcus Llorente in the iconic Champions League round of 16 win over Liverpool at Anfield. Thanks, Adrian.
Look, the truth is, when you go for over 100 million, it's going to be hard to live up to that no matter who you are. There's not going to be many players who can do it. Maybe Mbappe, and that's really it. Number two, he's 19, bro. Like 19. Atletico Madrid should have known what they were getting and understood what they were getting. 19 years old, bro. That's still a baby, man. You got to work him up into being what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what a lot of big European clubs do. They make a mistake. Like, if this guy would have cooked at Benfica for maybe 2 more years, yeah, you're going to pay high money, but he's going to be more polished. He's going to be more ready for the big time, right? He's going to be more ready for the Champions League and stuff. You barely gave this guy time to play Champions League football or play Europa League football or really just, you know what I mean? Like, grow as a player. So that's really on Atletico Madrid, if I'm being honest with you.
You ruined a perfect season for us. Back to topic, it would be disingenuous of me to say that João Felix's first season at Atletico Madrid didn't come with problems. It was already pretty clear from the get-go that Felix was having difficulties in adapting to Diego Simeone's playstyle, specifically in the fact that he was expected to press their opponents frequently when playing off the ball, which isn't really a strength of João Felix at all. This is also why the move to Atletico Madrid was a terrible decision in hindsight, but we'll get to that. Overall though, in Felix's first season for the Spanish club, he failed to live up to that unfair price tag, and was named by the newspaper outlet Marca as one of the most disappointing transfers of the season. However, the 2021 season was overall better for João Felix, but more importantly, it was great for Atletico Madrid. João Felix got his season best, getting 10 goals and 6 assists in 40 games in the 2021 campaign. The same goal contribution stats that he'll get in the following season as well, with him bagging 10 goals and 6 assists in 35 games in the 21-22 campaign. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself though, so let's go back to the 2021 season. With João Felix not working out as much under Simeone, Atletico Madrid decided to sign Luis Suarez, who just had a follow with Barcelona's hierarchy. Now Suarez was a great signing. With him being more of a traditional number 9, he was able to help Atletico Madrid a lot in this campaign by getting 21 goals. However, this would come at a cost for Felix, who although had his best season for Atleti, he would lose his starting spot to the likes of Luis Suarez, and others as well, like Thomas Lemar and Yannick Carrasco, leading him to only play substitute minutes for the last few games of the season. However, his 7 goals and 6 assists in La Liga did play a role in helping Atletico Madrid achieve the impossible, winning the La Liga title after 7 years, at a time where Real Madrid and Barcelona dominated the league. This will be a historic achievement for Felix, with him forever cementing his place in Atletico Madrid history, but he wouldn't be the face of it, with other players having more of an integral role in helping Atletico Madrid accomplish this task. Let's now skip over to the 22-23 season, since I already briefly mentioned the 21-22 campaign, where nothing significant or different happened for João Felix, apart from the fact that it was an injury-ridiculed campaign, but he still managed to win the Atletico Madrid Player of the Season award. Apart from that, it was an ordinary Atletico Madrid season, with no silverware won, but they qualified for the Champions League like they expected. Moving on to the 22-23 season, João Felix struggled tremendously, especially in the first half of the campaign while he was still with the Spanish club. In the 14 games he took a part in, he only got 4 goals and 3 assists, with his first goal in that season only coming 2 days before Halloween, 2.5 months after the La Liga campaign already started. Clearly, João Felix's time at Atletico Madrid was coming to an end, with Felix
The truth is, real quick, I know I'm fast forwarding, he hasn't been scoring a lot at Barca neither. He started really well, and I think it's been like 10 games of him not scoring at Barcelona now, but I don't know, man. I don't really know what it is. The guy scored a lot at Benfica, but he wasn't this crazy goal scorer at Benfica neither. It's not like he had more goals than games or equal. He's a goal scorer, but it's more what he contributes on the field, you know what I mean, rather than how many goals he scores. I think a lot of people think that he's like a traditional striker, but at Benfica, he played behind Jonas and he played behind Stefanovic. He was never the main 9 on the team, you know. That's why I thought Barca he would be real successful with Lewandowski. You know, I thought he would help Lewandowski score a lot of goals, if that makes sense.
Definitely not enjoying his football, and him for sure falling out in favor with Diego Simeone. Although both of them have publicly come out numerous times before and said that their relationship is good, the actions of João Felix in particular show that this probably isn't the case. When João Felix bagged his first 2 goals of the season in the game against Cadiz, he made a shush signal towards the Atletico Madrid bench. Many speculated that this was towards Simeone, but João Felix came out publicly and shut it down. However, is Felix just trying to save face? I'm not sure. Then throughout the many games of the season, João Felix was continuously starting off the bench, or whenever he started, he would come off around the 60th minute for Griezmann, due to Griezmann's complex Barcelona contract that wouldn't let him start the games. This would piss off João Felix, and made it look like he wasn't enjoying his time at Atletico Madrid anymore. And like I said already, he definitely wasn't. So with this speculated broken relationship with his manager, and also with him not having fun on the pitch anymore, he was looking for a move away in January. The problem is, Atletico Madrid would refuse to let him go permanently unless a very big offer came that would would regain a reasonable amount of the 126 million euros that they spent on him. They wanted to recoup as much of the money as possible. However, no club is going to pay that amount for Félix, especially with his underwhelming spell with Atletico Madrid. Therefore, only a loan was possible, and a club eventually pounced on this opportunity, and that was Chelsea, who offered him a 6-month loan deal for 11 million euros with no option to buy. Chelsea was going through a massive rebuild at the time, with them signing young talented players, with João Félix absolutely fitting the profile. Sadly, things didn't really go Félix's way with his time at Chelsea. Now, don't get me wrong, he did pretty decently, with him bagging 4 goals in the 16 Premier League games he took a part in. However, his start in the Premier League was awful, because in the very first game of João Félix in the Chelsea shirt, he made a bad tackle and got sent off with a straight red card. What a debut for João Félix, huh? Anyways, on a more serious note, João Félix was actually one of the bright spots for this terrible Chelsea team. Yeah, Chelsea were horrendous, with them finishing off the Premier League season in a measly 12th place.
Bad.
Crazy how they went from winning the Champions League a couple seasons prior to finishing at the bottom half of the table. Now, João Félix showed promising flashes, and maybe under Pochettino's guidance, he could be cooking for Chelsea right now. However, Chelsea decided to go against negotiating with Atletico to permanently sign him. Why? Well, Chelsea signed a couple other attackers instead, with Nkunku coming in from RB Leipzig and Nicholas Jackson coming in from Villarreal. With these two attackers, and Mudryk already signed in January, Chelsea needed to rebuild in the other positions. Therefore, the decision was made by the Chelsea hierarchy to move on from João Félix, which meant that he was stuck with Atletico Madrid for preseason. And in preseason was when the drama between João Félix and Atletico Madrid escalated. Almost immediately, João Félix had a very intense exchange with the Atletico Madrid sporting director, Andrea Berta, in his first training session back with Atletico Madrid, and because of this, he was then forced to train with the reserves. So with João not even training with the main team, and having alleged beef with the sporting director and the manager, it was crystal clear that he was trying to force his way out. Initially though, it didn't seem like it was possible, with Atletico Madrid not wanting to sell João Félix unless the transfer fee was massive. Like I said, nobody was going to pay that large of an amount for João Félix, since his career has been at an all-time low in the past couple of years. However, hope finally came, and it was all thanks to João Félix's agent, Jorge Mendes, and of course, Mr. Transfer Window himself, Fabrizio Romano. So basically what happened was, Fabrizio dropped an exclusive, and it stated that João Félix's dream move was to play for Barcelona, and that Barca was always his dream as a kid. Funny, because Barcelona were interested in Félix a few years ago, but instead he went to Atletico Madrid, a direct rival. Clearly, João's agent, Jorge Mendes, gave Fabrizio an exclusive to tip the people off, and he definitely had Laporta's permission to do so. Jorge Mendes, I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game.
I owe you an apology. I wasn't really familiar with your game.
He was cooking,
Anyways,
baby.
This would obviously piss off the Atletico Madrid hierarchy, and this led to João Félix to get a total of 0 preseason minutes with the club, since he's basically twerking for his rivals. And then for the rest of the summer, it seemed like the Barcelona rumors would die down until deadline day arrived. That's when on the 1st of September, Barcelona signed the Portuguese duo of João Cancelo and João Félix on loan for the entirety of the 23-24 season, with Xavi finally giving the green light for the move, with Bernardo Silva and Neymar not being able to join the Catalonian club. Barca even agreed that they would cover 100% of his wages, and João even lowered his salary significantly just for him to play for Barcelona, since we all know that Barca are a broke club right now. Regardless of Barcelona's circumstances, securing João Félix's signature is when his career finally started to turn around. And thank goodness for that, because joining Atletico Madrid was a big mistake for João Félix's career. Anyways, in João Félix's first start for Barcelona, he opened the scoring in the 25th minute against Real Betis with a very good finish from a narrow angle. Additionally, in that game, he dictated the play and was definitely Barcelona's most influential player on the pitch. Swiftly moving on to the Champions League, João Félix got the start in the opener against Royal Antwerp, and his man of the match performance consisting of 2 goals and 1 assist in a 5-0 win was the reason Barcelona were off to a hot start in the Champions League, and quite possibly the favorites to win it all. Overall, in the 8 games João Félix has played for Barcelona so far, he has 3 goals and 3 assists. So yes, maybe his rise again part isn't here yet, but personally, I have no doubt that João Félix is only going to continue to kill it this season, barring any injury.
I think he's
It seems like he's finally enjoying being back on the pitch again, and with him being one of the main men in this Barcelona squad, I'm sure he's going to do great things from now and for the rest of his career. If Barcelona sign him permanently, which I'm sure they will, because he's definitely not going back to Atletico Madrid. Anyways, if you guys enjoy
Listen, man. First of all, this video is outstanding. Link down below. Show the homie some love. João Félix's career was a roller coaster, but it's all because he picked Atletico Madrid. And a lot of times these players, I say it all the time, man, they leave teams too soon, or they think the grass is green on the other side, and teams sell too soon, you know? A lot of times football's in a place where business is such a big thing now, lads, that it sucks. Like, Benfica saw the opportunity at 126 million, and there was a release clause. They sold him, right? A club like Benfica, if they could have held him longer, not only would have benefited them a lot, but they would have benefited him, you know? So, but the business side of stuff that just doesn't allow teams like Benfica and Ajax and stuff like this to hold players. So, unfortunately, that stinks, but it ended up costing João Félix years on his career, you know, of developing and playing consistently as well. But it's nice to see Barcelona have João Félix, and I hope they sign him permanently, and I hope he continues to cook, because he is having a good season for them. Barca's on a little bit of a down right now when I'm making this video, but I'm sure they're going to go right back up, and I'm sure they have such a good starting 11. So, hey, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the the rise and fall of João Félix and the rise again. Smash a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to subscribe. Appreciate you. And Barca fans, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about João Félix? I love him personally, and I think he's going to be amazing for you guys. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.